Yo, what's up, guys? I just wanted to make a video today because this is actually something that's been, I guess, pretty, I guess, necessarily important recently, but it's definitely been kind of in the front of the discussion regarding Dark and Darker, and that is about content being added. So, a lot of people have said things like, oh, the game just needs new content, people need a reason to play, like content, 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 that's what the game has. Like, the core mechanics are fun, but we just need new content. I'm someone that said that a lot too. However, especially in the light of this most recent patch where we've got the ice map, I think that it needs to be a little bit more in depth in terms of the discussion that's going on around it. Because is the new map content? Yes, it is. Do we got a new weapon? We got some new stuff for Warlock. Actually, I forgot I need to mute this game audio, my bad. So we got some new stuff for Warlock. Like, we did get new content, right? However, new content isn't necessarily good if the content itself isn't like it doesn't make people want to play and it's not good. Because I'm just gonna be honest with you, in the current state that the ice map is in, I feel like it takes away from the game more than it adds to the game. And what I mean by that is, so we know the map's unfinished. It's the exact same thing. This is the exact same talk I had whenever they added in map rotation to begin with. So we know the map is unfinished. We know it's not necessarily ready to be played, and they just wanted to go ahead and get it out because they said they were going to put it out. They wanted to put it out, have people test it, see how it is. However, the problem with it is it's now in the map rotation, which means every 30 minutes, solo, duo, or trio, one of those is on it. So, if you want to play one of those game modes, you're forced to play it. But the map itself isn't good. And I don't mean like the layout or, like the map itself. I think the map looks cool. I think there's a lot of cool things on the map. I like the ice. I like how there's there's like see-through terrain that you can like hide behind. I think the escapes, I think they're cool. I don't love that there's no portals. I think the statics are pretty cool. I think it's a cool idea. I think there's a lot of cool ideas on the map. However, there's a few really big problems. One, the mob density is way too high. I mentioned this in my previous video regarding like talking about the patch notes. The mob density is way too high, and I don't just mean that there's a lot of mobs in each room. I mean that if you step into a room, you're gonna aggro like 5 things. And not to mention, there's pretty much at least one elite in every single room. So you walk in, you're gonna aggro like 4 kobolds. You're gonna aggro, like the ice giant berserkers or the whatever they're called, like the big door, the guys that hold the big door type thing. You're gonna aggro a ton of things. And if you're playing in a trio with good gear, it's like whatever, not really an issue. However, let's say you're just starting off on a wipe or you're playing solo or duo, those 6 mobs, 5, 6 mobs you aggro plus the elite, that becomes a lot harder to deal with than, if you're like in a trio with really good gear, like especially towards the start of a wipe. Like you go in there like default gear, even in like low roller rather than just high roller, like those are still a ton of mobs to deal with and still not very easy at all. So like, that's one issue. And then the biggest issue with it is completely ignoring that is just the map itself just feels really laggy. And I don't even understand how, but if you've played Goblin Caves and you know how laggy Goblin Caves is, it's the exact type of thing where you're just like lagging around all the terrain. Like it doesn't feel like smooth at all. Like I feel like I'm getting stuck constantly on things. I'm like rubber banding around things. There are just things I'm bouncing off of, places I can't jump, places I can't walk, and it just makes my game lag too. Like FPS lag in my inventory. I'm trying to move things around. That lags. Overall, I just feel like the map isn't like I mean I originally I said it. I was like, "Oh yeah, like I don't care how bad the map is, it just needs to be released because it's for something to do." However, when I said that, my thought process was when they released the map, it wasn't going to be like in the rotation, it would just be its own standalone thing that you could queue if you wanted to see how it is. I was wrong about that. That's not what they're doing. And if they're going to do it like that, I don't want the map to be released until it is ready because now there's just 30 minutes out of the an hour and a half rotation that I don't want to play trios because it's on that map and it just doesn't feel good to play. It's like, oh, I'm going to play this. And like, it's the exact same as Goblin Caves. I don't want to play Goblin Caves because it's not optimized and I literally just lag. Like, I don't even hate Goblin Caves as much anymore. There are certain parts about it I don't like, but some of the new modules, like the big open rooms, those are cool and fun to fight in. I actually enjoy them. But the problem is, I play them and my FPS drops by like half in some of the rooms to where I can't even play the game. So it's like, what the hell? It's like, I mean, why is that there? And like I said, I'm all for, there being new things to play, but I just don't think that's the right type of stuff to add. And now, on to like what I was talking about when I say like, there's certain content that should be added, certain content that shouldn't be added. I just don't think the map is the right thing. I think the thing that we want the most, one, we want new classes, right? Classes are something that we are very, very excited for. Especially Druid. Druid's something I know a lot of people are looking forward to. A lot of old players want to play it. A lot of new players want to play it because content like a new class is something everyone can play. Everyone has access to. It's nothing, that you have to like. You could play on a rotation, or you're locked out of like a new weapons only certain classes can use, new spells or new skills something only certain classes use. It's something everybody can use, and I think that's like probably the most fun thing. It's like and I mean the problem with them adding all these new maps too is something I really want to talk about is every time they add new maps, they are now splitting what they have to do. Because now they have to think about balancing around Goblin Caves, and Ruins, and Crypts, and Inferno, and Ice Caves. We're gonna have three different floors of Ice Caves. We have to think about balance for every single map. For example, we just got the new portal change, right? They lowered portals pretty much everywhere to make people more aggressive, to make you fight for those portals, and like not just be everybody has blues, everybody can take blues. Okay, that's really cool on like Ruins. However, when you get down to Hell and there's less portals in Hell, that makes it really bad because let's say you do boss, you loot pile, you clear the last room, portals have already spawned. Two of the portals spawned in a room that's out in the zone that's not even cleared yet. Like what do we do? And that's something that's literally an issue that we've had before in this game, where you had to start clearing for portals halfway through Hell's like zone being closed because if not, they were just gonna spawn off in the corner of the map that's not cleared, that's pretty much almost in the zone, and you just don't have time to you don't have time to find them. And like I said, so it's really cool for other maps, but then when you look at different things like Inferno, it's not good. And that's the problem with them adding all these new maps, is now they have to think about balancing around all of these new maps, which takes up time that they could be spending to do on other things. Like, working on classes, working on new skills, new spells, all this stuff that people really want, that'd be really cool. And I'm not saying we should never get new maps. I want new maps, right? I think new maps are fantastic. I just don't think new maps should be the main focus. I think the main focus should be the classes that they like the classes that are out and new classes coming out. I think that should be the number one thing they are looking to improve on. Because I'm just going to be honest. Look at some of the old classes. Look at Cleric. Look at Fighter. Look at Barbarian. Even Wizard. How, Wizard got Explosion, and that's the only spell they've gotten in, I don't even know how long, since, the playtests. Fighter hasn't gotten anything since Slayer was added in playtest 4 or 5, I believe. They basically never get anything added. The old classes have kind of just been sitting there stagnant with nothing new at all. And the classes is honestly one of the main reasons people play this game. I know a lot of people only play, one class at the most, maybe two, and that's the reason they love it. If they couldn't play that class, they wouldn't play the game, right? So it's instead of focusing on these new maps and pushing these new maps out and all this stuff, just focus on the content you already have and improving it, making it better, and adding new things to it. There's so much potential to add new stuff to old classes that make people just enjoy the class more, make people want to play it more. Diversify the playstyles. We don't need, a new map and 100 new classes when you can when they're old classes that should have new things. It's kind of dumb, I think. It's why are they not giving new things for these classes? When they've already seen that they kind of want to, or even if they were gonna push out new classes, even with a decent pace, I'd be fine with that. I could deal if they were doing one class a month or something like that, and they weren't adding new stuff to old classes, that's fine. But we've been waiting on Druid since early access came out. Warlock was released on early access release, with a no, we got Warlock at what was it? I think it was at no, was it at the beginning of early access? I actually don't know. I think it was, right? Yeah. Warlock came out originally with an unfinished state at the beginning of early access. That has been what, half a year ago now? Or no, almost. Or actually, no, maybe it has been. It's been about 5 months, 5, 6 months since that happened, and all we got was some new spells. We got I know 10 new spells for Warlock in half a year, and we still don't know about Druid. They still don't have Druid ready to be released. I don't understand it. It's just kind of ridiculous to me. But then, if you think about since then, we've gotten High Roller Goblin Caves, new Goblin Caves modules, High Roller Ruins, and this new map they're working on. So that's pretty much, and not to mention all of the different variations of the maps. We've gotten 3 maps, at least, just considering the base modules, since then being released. When we've gotten one class that's still not even necessarily finished, and they're just now almost finishing up the second class that they're trying to release. I just that just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like I said, all of these new maps they're adding, it makes it harder for them to literally makes it harder for them to balance around the classes they have. because now, like I said, they've put all this new work into these maps, which is just it's just kind of like I said, it's just kind of dumb, right? It's just kind of dumb. Why are you working all this when you have perfectly good things that you could be putting stuff into to help the game and make the game more fun? I don't get it. I mean, anyways, this has pretty much just been me ranting to say adding new content isn't necessarily a good thing when when there's things in the game that you could like update or make better that would be just as good and give yourself less work. This is a problem Ironmace has always had is they would much rather, they would much rather try to add like new things to their game rather than do old like update old things that people already like and make them better. Because I know a lot of people have been complaining about like my class hasn't got anything in months, which is true. Most classes haven't. They release a new class, update it with a few things, and they start working on another and completely forget about the old stuff. And it's just like I said, it's just I don't get it. Like why? Like we want new content, but the new content has to be good. It has to make people want to play the game. The new ice map, it makes me not want to play the game. I'm just going to be completely honest. With this map implemented, I played it a few times, and the map layout's cool, but all the issues I've said and the fact that it's incredibly buggy and incredibly laggy literally makes me not want to play the game until either it's fixed or until the wipe happens. And that's just not good. When your new content makes people not want to play, it's not good content. However, if they add new perks and new skills for classes, that's awesome. That doesn't ruin the base gameplay experience, and it adds on, which is the base thing, or the best thing. Like that, like I feel like that's what they're forgetting. People like the reason people got into Dark and Darker is for like the core gameplay loop, how fun it is, all of that good stuff. And I feel like they're really starting to move away from that, and it's not something I want to see. And I feel like a lot of people agree with me too. It's I don't think they understand what makes people like their game so much, and I feel like the things they're doing is just moving entirely in the wrong direction. And I don't know how it's gonna go, honestly, but I feel like things just aren't gonna end up being that good. I mean, unless they if they get a much bigger dev team, which I mean, they've said they're hiring more people. They were a small dev team in the past. That's why things weren't working out that well. And if they do get a new dev team, then or like a much larger dev team, then it's fine to do this because then you have a ton of different people that are all working on different things. However, right now their dev team isn't that big, so you really can't afford to have people working on solos, duos, trios for three different maps. Then you have to worry about balance for new classes, balance for old classes, adding like making sure the maps feel fun, feel fresh, loot balances, leaderboards, rankings, all of these other things that you have to worry about and have to like change. You just don't have enough people to do it. So I think the thing like they really really need to polish what they have, and then if they want to add new content, good. Just make sure it's the right stuff to add. Because adding new content that's bad is literally just going to be counterproductive and it's going to make people not want to play the game. But anyways, that pretty much sums it up for this video. Honestly, I just kind of want to rant a little bit because I'm pretty tilted at the state of the games. Because I want to play the game, but I just don't. And I'm sure like some of you can tell, like, if you watch any of my like streams or anything, it's like I love Dark and Darker, but right now my desire to play the game pretty much doesn't exist. Outside of all of the stupid shit you have to deal with as an HR player, like, the smoke pot rogues, the third partying on every single map, the being unable to fight, the fucking all this random bullshit that you have to deal with if you want to play HR. It makes me not want to play the game. And then we get patches. Like this is supposed to be one of the big this patch 3 was one of the big content patches, right? And it feels like I feel like there was nothing added to the game. We got the shitty map that's completely unplayable basically, a new weapon and like what a new skill and a new perk or a new spell for Warlock. And it's like what else? We didn't get the marketplace. I mean, we got barb buffs and nerfs. Don't really care about that. I mean, it's cool. The barb was definitely like that one barb ability was over buffed to hell and back. It's OP as fuck. But I mean, just what did we get? Like this is your big content patch? Like really? It doesn't feel like it. And I think most people would agree with me. It's just I don't know. I feel I am incredibly underwhelmed by what I got this patch, and it feels very disappointing because I think me and a lot of other players were expecting a lot more. Especially the marketplace. I think the marketplace is something I'm looking the most forward to, and it just gets delayed. Like this game still has gone so far And we are still missing such basic quality of life things that every other game like this has. Greed is good. Dungeonborn, both of these games that people just call cheap knockoffs, when they came out in their first tests, had better quality of life than Dark and Darker. And it's like, how? Like basic things, being able to transfer across stashes for your character. We still don't have that. We only recently got the ability to buy more stash tabs for each character, and that took forever. Being able to trade items that are worth more than 1,250 gold. So the market is inflated by having to use keys and gold ingots and gold powder to store currency. We still, like, that's still a thing. Storing gold. You still don't have good ways to store gold. You get a gold chest, you could store 10,000 in that, but you can't use it to trade because you're not like it's you get one, like, you mean, usually most people are going to get one gold chest to wipe if they finish their quests, and most aren't even going to do that. Like a significant portion of the player base are not going to finish their quests. That's just not, like, especially not enough to get the gold chest unless they're incredibly lucky, because you have to get legendary gems, and you only get that by going HR hell and getting really lucky out of chests or looting the pile behind bosses. And like I said, most players are never going to do that. That just isn't going to happen. So most people, at best, maybe they get the big gold bag for doing Goblin Caves quest, which they can, but that's only what, like 1,000 gold? I don't even. Oh, no, it's like, is it three? I mean, how much is it? Is it 1,000? Is it 3,000? I don't even know how big it is. Just know it's not that big. I'm pretty sure it only stores 1,000. Well, like, but yeah. So most players can't ever. Like, most players, at best, what they have to do, they have to store it in keys and buy items in keys, which leads to the market being incredibly inflated by value because we can't trade things that are 1250. It's like, oh, you want to buy something that's 1250 gold? Well, now it's worth the key. There's no in between. It goes from 1250 directly to a key to whatever, and whatever the price of a key is. Is a key 7,000 gold? Nice. You buy an item for 1250 gold or 7,000 gold. No in between, because you literally can't trade with people because you can't trust people because they're just going to scam you or you're going to scam them, which is reasonable. I mean, no one's just going to trust somebody to give them the money, right? Like, you can't blame them for that. But it's like things like that are just absolutely insane that we still have to deal with, like inventory management for gold and storing gold. It's not like it just, has its own little thing where it shows your gold as like a top value, like World of Warcraft or any other game does. But the gold's like an actual physical thing that's in your stash that you have to physically trade with people, so it takes up space. It's just dumb. Can't trade stash tabs, or can't trade across stash tabs. So you don't have a friend to trade with, or you, like, can't find anyone to help you trade. Can't swap items across characters. That's kind of dumb. We still don't have. I mean, the arena. I mean, I'm not excited. I didn't expect to have that by now. I kind of hoped we would, but we don't. So arena's not out. Just, like, when are we gonna get all these basic things? Like, that's what I mean. Stuff like that should be getting worked on. They're not out yet. But we have a new buggy map that's basically unplayable. Like, why? I just don't understand it. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up for the video. I just wanted to rant and bitch a little bit. I'm sure most of you are going to agree with me, but then most of you are going to, like, comment like, stop crying, it's a beta. Yeah, it is. It is an what's early access. But the thing is, you have to bitch about stuff. If you don't bitch about stuff, the devs are never going to change anything. Because they're like that is what early access is for, is to find things wrong, tell them what's wrong so they can fix it. So bitching is good. As long as your bitching is constructive and not just, man, this game sucks. Dumbass devs, what are they doing? Like, give them alternatives. Tell them what to do. Tell them what they need to do so they can listen. And that is what I'm doing. I'm not just sitting here, man, these devs are fucking idiots. They need, like, what are they doing? I'm giving them alternatives and telling them what I think should be done, which is the correct way to bitch. It is constructive bitching. Do that. Don't just, like, cry and say, like, dead game, lol. Because I'm sure most of you want this game to be good. I want this game to be good. I love this game. I want it to be great, like it should be. However, I just feel like they are focusing on the wrong things, and I really want them to. I really want them to change what they're focusing on. I just, like I said, there are small things that could make this game 100 times better, and we just don't have it yet. But yeah, that about sums up the video. So thank you guys for watching, and if you agree or disagree, as always, feel free to leave a comment. I do enjoy reading them. And if you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. But with that being said, I will catch you guys all next time. Peace.